Atta girl. Good girl. There's my girl. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Before you set about training your dog, or even trying to get your dog to obey an old command, pause for just 1 second and ask yourself the same 2 questions I guarantee your dog would ask you if they were able to do so. Number 1 question, what is it that you even want me to do? Yeah, what is it? Number 2, why should I do it? Those are extremely important. They tie into the roles of attention, motivation, and cognition. What do I have to do to gain your attention, dog? What do I have to do to motivate you to do what it is I'm trying to teach you? And then lastly, do you even have the cognition? Do you even have the ability to learn what it is I'm trying to teach? Always keep those at the forefront of your brain anytime you're training your dog or you're ready to embark upon teaching something brand new or something extremely difficult. Okay, well, I want to spend 2 videos. Today I'm going to focus on 1 video on motivation, and then there'll be another video following it on a different type of motivation. For me, I've always had dogs, for whatever reason, that were either ball crazy. Yep. You've seen Captain in the videos. You've also seen Castell, who I have hanging out here next to me, my new little puppy. And I've also had dogs that love their food. Yeah, I put food down for Castell or Captain. I don't care how much I give them, it's gone in about 15 to 20 seconds. So I've been lucky. I've been able to have dogs I can come up with something other than, hey, good dog, way to go, high five or whatever. I've always been able to come up with an incentive to learn what it is I'm trying to teach them. So that being said, you need to think about that yourself. What does your dog like the most? Does it like a ball or does it like a treat? The problem is sometimes you run into a dog that doesn't like either. They could care less about a ball. I've got a couple of those dogs. And they could care less about a treat. If that's the case, then motivating your dog to learn could be a little bit more difficult unless they find that your affection is the greatest thing that they could possibly ever receive by trying to learn what it is that you're trying to teach. Well, in this video, I'm going to focus on the ball, not the treats. That's going to be coming up in another video, so stay tuned for that. The ball. Why would I use a ball versus a treat? Well, first of all, like I just mentioned, it may not even be a question you need to ask yourself because your dog may not care for a ball whatsoever. So if that's the case, don't worry about this video. But if you do have a dog that loves a ball or loves a toy, pay more attention. I like to use a ball mostly for fast action. All my action commands, my movement commands, things like heel, automatic sit, come to me when I call you. You'll see those in the videos I'm going to show within this video of a training session I had with Castell just yesterday. You will see that high action that I speak of. But in the subsequent video coming up on about treats, you'll see me doing things like, well, I will do a little bit of heel just so you can see the difference between her with the ball and with the treat. But also you'll see me doing place and stay, down. Those are commands that you would want to use a treat rather than a ball. And why is that? Well, first of all, using a ball, things can get out of control in a real hurry. If your dog has too much drive for the ball, it can get out of control, and you are going to see that in a video I'm going to show here in just about a minute. Yeah, out of control. So what does that require from you? A lot more handler attention. When I'm using a ball to train, I have to pay far more attention than if I'm using a treat. I have to be ready. I have to be light on my feet. I have to know exactly when to let the dog have the ball, when not to let the dog have the ball. What do I have to do to keep the dog from getting the ball? Yeah, it can be a little hectic at first, but eventually the dog will start to drop out of drive. You'll get a little bit more focus and a little bit more control from the dog. So don't get discouraged in the first few moments of trying to use a ball to motivate your dog to learn those movement exercises. Okay, so let's talk about handling. Well, first of all, the ball that I use is really cool. It's a magnet. Yeah, there's 2 magnets as you see on my vest here. There's one on the outside and there's one on the inside. And you can move these things all around your torso or your leg, or I don't know, even to your head. You can stick a ball to your darn head if you want to. It's really cool because you can adjust where your dog's focus is while you're moving. Do you want to focus on my chest? Do you want to focus underneath my armpit over here and have the dog heeling with the head straight up? Do you want the dog to do switching, go around your body? Now you can put one on this side, and nothing says you can only own one of these. Get a couple of them. Have a ball on this side and a ball on that side. Dog goes over, boom, pull this ball off. Because it's really neat. I'll drop a link into this video. These are made by a company called Top-Matic. There you go. Maybe I'll hold that there for a second. Top-Matic. And they're just really, really neat training aids. Okay, so I'm gonna stick that right there to my chest. Really neat, comes off pretty easy, but the magnets, man, I'm telling you what, you ever get these two red magnets stuck together, you're gonna have to do the old Boy Scout trick with a knife to separate them. They're powerful magnets, so don't worry about your ball coming off or these magnets coming off of your apparel. I guarantee the apparel will give before the magnets do. Okay, so I love to use a ball that allows me to now have my hands free. I can hold on to the leash with two hands. I can correct with two hands if I need to. I can manipulate the dog, guide the dog, give hand signals. I don't have to walk around constantly holding on to a ball, because when that happens, things start to get out of control for both you and your dog. Okay, so that's the ball that I like to use. Feel free to use anything. You can always just shove it right in your pocket. But I find that out of sight, out of mind. And I start losing the ability of this ball to be attractive in the beginning. Now, later down the road, I'll show another video when Castell's more advanced, in which I do hide the ball on purpose. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it magically appears and flies off my body. I kid you not. I think I have convinced Captain that there is always a ball on my body somewhere. That's why you see him staring at me all the time. People have remarked, man, he's got incredible focus on you. He's always watching you. Well, probably shouldn't give away my trades of the tools of the trade. It's because he thinks I have a ball on me. Yeah, and I've proven it to him. Out of nowhere, he could be in the house, in the backyard, front yard, down here, up in the mountains. He could be anywhere, and all of a sudden, boom, there goes the ball. Flies right off my body like a jack-in-box. There it goes. But for now, when you're first training, if the dog wants the ball, they need to see the ball and know that it's somewhere close, and they have to learn that when they perform certain actions, that's when they get the ball. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to show you a couple of training sessions that I did with Castell yesterday using the ball. And in the first video, you're going to see her a little bit out of control. And that was during the first couple of minutes of our training in our first training session of the day. In the second video, you'll see a little bit more under control Castell. But here's another thing that you'll see. Her tongue hanging out. Yes, she's tired. She's dropping out of drive because chasing the ball, working for a ball, requires a lot of aerobic conditioning, a lot of extra work on the part of the dog, more so than a treat. And because of that, you're going to have to keep your training sessions very short, keep them very intense, and make sure that your timing on when you present the ball, when the dog's allowed to have the ball, make sure that's exactly when you want the dog to have it. Like for instance, after a great sit, after a period of time in which the dog has maintained consistent focus on you, when the dog is in a great healing position, when the dog has come from a distance and sat right in front of you, you time that. So it's going to wear you both out, and you'll see in these videos coming up exactly how it does that. So let's go ahead and roll with that very first video with Castell. Okay, so you'll see in the video here, I'm putting the magnetic ball on my chest. And then we start to go, and lo and behold, Castell jumps up and takes the ball. Well, again, you've got to be ready. She even caught me off guard. I didn't realize she knew how to do that, come up and get it. The first time she's ever snatched it right off my chest. But now, I'm a little smarter. You bet. So watch what happens now. She jumps up, and I immediately rebuke her. Off she goes. Right then and there. So that's one of the neat things, guys, about training with the ball, is that you see that high energy in your dog, and there's a trade-off. The dog is, I already told you, there's going to be a little bit of control issues. That's okay. You can get it under control. After she was rebuffed a few times, pushed off of me, well, she didn't try that again, at least not as often. Every session that we did with the ball, it got less and less and less. So again, you just got to stay after it. So now let's go ahead and watch the second video in which I was working with Castell later in the day, and you'll see a lot more control, a lot more focus. Only one time does she really try to go after the ball, but again, I'm able to block her and keep her from having that success. So let's roll that clip. All right, so now as you see in this video, there's a little bit of difference between this one and the first one. Now we have a little bit more focus. You see her looking up as I heel her, changing my pace. And now I notice I took the ball off of my chest, and I did that on purpose because she was starting to drop so far out of drive. She's getting very tired. Look at that tongue hanging out. That I had to do something to get her back up to that proper heel position. And all of that is perfectly fine. But notice that attention. Look at it. This is off leash. And this is an 18-week-old puppy. There she goes. She tried to jump up one more time, but again, not with the same intensity, not with the same effort. Now look at this laser focus. Yes, the neat thing about this is that over a period of time, that focus will become a habit. A habit. So that's one of the neat things, guys, is that you're using this ball to gain your dog's attention. And over time, we start to fade it out by hiding it on our bodies. And then we also start to go to what's called a variable reinforcement, meaning sometimes you come perfectly, but there's no ball. Sometimes you heel perfectly, but there's no ball. You sit and do everything I ask you to do perfectly, but there's no ball. All of a sudden, it comes randomly. So maybe you come 3 times perfect, then on the 4th one, there goes the ball off my body. It's an evolution. It's where the animal starts to develop all of these habits because it's focused entirely on the ball. But then when I hide it one day, stick it in my pocket, and it magically appears, well, there you go. Now I have another captain in Castell. She'll think I always have a ball on my body. And again, such a great tool for high action, high speed, when you're really trying to bring that dog up, super sharp, super fast. I love it. Okay, so a couple pointers, just to kind of go over it again. Number 1, if you do use a ball, you're going to need to pay far more attention to your dog. Look what even happened to me. I like to value my skill set, but I'm telling you what, she snatched that ball off of my chest so fast, I wasn't ready for it. I'd gotten a little complacent. I didn't think she would do that, and of course, she did it. But I learned from it, and that's what you need to do too. Learn from your mistakes, because you're going to make those mistakes. Learn from it. Now I was ready that second time. She jumped up, boom, out went the elbow. There you go. So she found, wow, man, there's an elbow that just flew out here. And she didn't get the ball. But then later in that video, I cut it a little short. I threw the ball where she was in a perfect heel position. And now she's starting to get it. If I do A, B, and C, I get a ball. D, E, and F, I get a ball too. X, Y, and Z, you name it, I get a ball. That's how I get it. Jumping doesn't get it for me. No, wrapping around the front of Bryan's body doesn't get it for me. But a perfect heel, a perfect sit, paying attention to me, that's how I get my ball. Be ready when you train. Be ready. Be dressed ready to train. Be light on your feet. You're like a ninja. You are ready for anything and everything. You have to be a little reactive, a little proactive, think ahead of time, but also be reactive and adjust your training. Also, carefully choose when the dog gets the ball. Remember, they don't have a clue what's really going on in the beginning. They're just walking next to you, heeling, and boom, a ball flies off. Well, know this, animals learn with their eyes first. And because of that, they're taking like a little Instagram shot, let's just call it that, a little snapshot. They know exactly where they were positioned to you when the ball flew off your body. Now, as it does that consistently, they've got it. Remember search image formation? I talked about that in the 365. They do the same thing. What part of the Bryan's torso do I have to line up on to get that ball? What part of his body? I need to look up and to the right and see his torso. That's when the ball flies. I need to be in a sit looking right next to Bryan, staring right up at him, and I need to do it for as long as necessary for that ball to fly off of his body. So there you have it, guys. I would encourage you to use a ball if you have a ball crazy dog. Just don't let it get too crazy. Keep it under control. You'll make a few mistakes, let it go. In the next video, I'm going to talk about using treats. And you'll see me slow everything down. Because that's what you have to do with treats. In fact, you actually have to give them time to chew them up and swallow them before you move on to the next exercise, to the next repetition. So things will slow down in the next video. But balls, toys, keep it fast, keep it intense, keep it short, focus, and man, I promise you, just look back on that video at Castell, off leash, 18 weeks old, and she is beautiful. And if you notice at the end of that video, I chucked that ball. I'm down here at a park. She's not on a leash, and she comes right back to me. You've seen her in the mountains. No leash. She stays near me and comes to me. Again, 18 weeks old. She was doing that a month ago. Do what I tell you, guys, and you will have the dog that you've always wanted. I promise you. Okay, so for those of you who want to do this and you can't come train with Darryl Bryan because you don't live near Memphis, Tennessee, well then, we also have a virtual program. It's called the 14-Day Challenge. And it also includes, you can also purchase a Start Right, End Right puppy program and train your puppy just the same way I'm training Castell. And you can also learn how to teach your dog basic obedience commands through the 14-Day Challenge. So give that thing a shot. We're getting rave reviews. We're even getting video testimonies. And heck, in one of them today, one of them is a term of endearment, called me a nerd. Yeah, she says she learned so much. Professor Bryan it is, the nerd. That's okay. I'm a teacher, and anyone watching my videos knows that. So try out our 14-Day Challenge, and definitely get a ball and get busy. And stay tuned for the next video where I'm going to talk about using treats. Hey, Castell, wake up, sweetheart. It's time to get busy here. Atta girl, heel. If you enjoy my videos, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with some friends.